Hi everyone. I want to talk about mind-body stuff. I mean, it's amazing to me how often people talk about mind-body, and I wonder often what they mean by that and what they think. Is the mind-body the same as brain-body? Are we thinking that it's the brain which has the effect on the body? Or why do we use the word mind-body? I mean, what evidence do we have that there's such a thing as a mind? And where is this mind that we're talking about? So it's so interesting that how often people use that word mind, and yet there's not really any science to it. I mean, we all have an experience, and that's interesting, isn't it? That we have experience that there's a difference between the brain and the mind. But what do we mean? Science is not clear around that at all. So when we talk about mind-body, exactly how do we vision it? So if I had to ask you, do you know how to lift your hand up? You will probably say yes. Well, exactly how do you do that? And think about that. How do you actually lift your hand up? You think you know how to do it, but actually you don't. You have no idea how to activate the nerves, the muscles. It's an incredibly complex process lifting your hand up. So do you know how to lift your hand up? No, you don't. Your thinking mind hasn't a clue how to lift the hand up. But what thinking does seem to know what to do is to ask. It says, please, won't you let my hand go up? And then your hand goes up. You don't know how to do it, but you know how to ask. So who are you asking then? So that's interesting, isn't it? That we keep using these terms like mind, body, and yet it's not clear exactly what we're doing. So the thinking mind is asking some intelligence within us to lift the hand up. And that same intelligence is able to, it knows what to do in terms of the body functioning, knows how to make the heart function, the liver function, knows how to digest your food. Thinking mind hasn't a clue. So you don't know how to digest your food. But there's obviously some kind of intelligence operating inside that responds to the thinking mind, wanting the hand to go up, digesting your food, and doing all these incredibly magnificent things all at the same time. So how does mind-body actually work then? So it's not the thinking mind, but there's obviously something else that's going on. So when we talk about the placebo, for example, now we all know about the placebo, that is something you can give in a very simple example, you give a sugar-coated tablet to a person and tell them that it's actually a very important drug that they're getting, and they respond to the placebo, which is just a sugar-coated tablet. There are thousands and thousands and thousands of cases around it. When they do drug trials, they have to do the trials where one group gets the drug and the other group gets the so-called placebo. Now, the interesting thing is that it doesn't make any difference what the disease is for that. There are always going to be some people that respond to the placebo, even with serious chronic diseases. So we're not even sure whether the drug is doing all the work itself or even the drug has a placebo effect. So placebo is incredibly powerful. What's happening there? It's not just the thinking mind, because the thinking mind, the person can think all they want to. Please, disease, go away. It doesn't go away. But suddenly, under a drug trial where you give the person a placebo, suddenly things happen. So there are lots of examples of where people so-called respond to a placebo in very strange ways. So something is happening there. Obviously, when we're talking about a placebo affecting ill health, then how's it working? It's not the thinking mind. You can't just make your thinking mind do it. But there is something that's responding on a deeper level. So the question for me then is, how come that intelligence which is operating inside doesn't just heal? I mean, if it can digest all the food and it can do all this physiological processes inside the body, why does it even allow illness to happen in the physical body? Now remember, we're not talking about an intelligence which is in the physical body. That's the brain. The brain doesn't have any intelligence. The brain's just the brain. It's a little bit, I guess, like a computer. There's the hard drive, there's the soft drive, and there's the operator. So the hard drive doesn't do anything, and even the soft drive needs to have the operator to manage. So if this intelligence inside is the operator, where is it? Where is it? I mean, where is it situated? Not in the brain. The brain's just hard drive. It's something much deeper, and it's something very intelligent. So here's another example. When you learn to drive a motor car, you need the thinking mind. Yeah, you do need the thinking mind to learn how to do the process and the technique of driving. But once you've learned the technique, you hand it over to this intelligence, and then you keep the thinking mind on your shoulder. But you can now have a conversation with somebody sitting next to you while you're busy driving. The intelligence is driving there for you. So we have this incredible intelligence operating inside us. Why doesn't it heal? Well, yeah. So that's a big question for me. In my new book that's coming out very soon, it's called The Heart of Healing. And in The Heart of Healing, I look at this whole question of what is the heart of healing? Clearly, it's not to do with the thinking mind. It has to do with some deeper intelligence. So that deeper intelligence is not necessarily a matter thing. It's a closer, maybe energetic, maybe, but the mind is not in the body. The body is probably in the mind. We can talk about that some other time. But why isn't this intelligent then healing? And there are some rules about it. In order to get the intelligence to heal, look, we know the placebo response is an astonishing healing process. So we know that this intelligence knows what to do and how to heal, and that there are certain guiding principles to maximize that possibility of happening. But why doesn't it happen all the time? And for me, that's been my deepest research, is to find out how to access that intelligence inside. It has many names to it. And maybe if I give you a few names, you can think about it before I give my next talk. But we call it the soul, for example. We call it higher mind, for example. We call it God, for example. So there are names for this intelligence that's operating there. But we do need to understand how to work with this intelligence, because we tend to work against the intelligence. The ego, which operates with the thinking mind, works against that intelligence and often hides behind all kinds of clouds, doesn't allow you to see what's really going on. So we do need to identify around this question of who am I and what am I? And how do I really function? What are these facilities that I have? And who is this I? We're going to talk about all these things. These are such beautiful questions to ask. So have a good day.